there, folks. Meteorologist Matt Barentine, sort of getting everything together here as we get going here on a Halloween afternoon. Yeah, I mean, it's boy, it's chilly. We'll talk about that here. Well, first off, let's go ahead and get right on into that. Obviously, the chill is what we're noticing right away. You can see across the area, we have managed to make 62 Mobile, so we have had enough breaks in the clouds. We've warmed up a little bit, at least got above 60 degrees. That was something. A lot of areas, though, didn't get above 60 this afternoon, so very, very chilly indeed here for us across the area. Once again, upper 50s and low 60s. Sorry, I hit my button here. I wanted to show you this because this is what's pretty amazing. Do you remember what it was like yesterday at this time? It was 20-something degrees warmer. So it's been a huge shift here for us from yesterday into today. We were still pretty warm yesterday afternoon. Of course, we started dropping last night, and those temperatures kept dropping because we got these sharp north winds behind the front. And you can see our wind gusts today have been up as high as, well, nearly 30 miles per hour in spots. So nearly 30 mile per hour wind gusts here across the area. Well, let's check out your trick-or-treat forecast. You send those kiddos out tonight. Oh, yeah, it's going to be chilly. Those temperatures will be in the 50s. And really kind of the main thing is, it's not just, I mean, look at 50s. 50s aren't that bad. It's just it's the wind. This wind out there on top of that's going to make it feel quite cool. And I know probably a lot of our the kiddos' costumes maybe aren't really prepared to deal with gusty winds. So hopefully, you know, you can put some thermals on underneath or something like that to help them out, because obviously it is going to be a good bit chilly out there this evening for us across the area. So very chilly indeed. Also, once again, like I said, it's going to be windy, and the winds here are going to be pretty stout over the next several hours, and they'll start dying off during the day tomorrow, and I'll show you that a little bit later. We'll actually be late in the day tomorrow until those winds die down. But you can see tonight we'll still have some pretty strong wind gusts as the kids are out and about. And you're looking at around 25 mile per hour wind gusts. Looking at the satellite radar, we did actually have a few light sprinkles. Did you feel a few light sprinkles out there today? I did. I took my dog for a walk this morning, and you could just barely feel it. Wasn't enough to actually make the ground wet. It just, you know, you could feel little drops in the air. It was really evaporating as it came down. And I do notice there's a bit more of that over around New Orleans, so we might see a little bit more of that this evening. But once again, nothing that'll have any real impact. So if you're out trick-or-treating, you may feel a few little drops in the air, but it's nothing that's going to have any impact or any worries. You're not going to need a raincoat or anything like that. Big picture, once again, there's the front that passed by yesterday. Strong north winds behind it, driving down that much chillier air. How about tonight? Well, here's where we're headed to tonight, at least over the next 10 hours. So we go into the early evening. Once again, this is when the trick-or-treaters are going to be out. You see the temperatures dropping through the 50s, but eventually it's going to drop back into the 40s and even lower than that by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. Mobile 37. Some of our inland areas, though, will drop to freezing tonight or real close. So we have a freeze watch in effect for our inland counties tonight. So if you're in one of our inland counties, Monroe, Washington, Connecticut County, your leaks up around Leaksville, up in Greene County, George County, you're under a freeze watch tonight. If you got some delicate plants, say, that are in pots and that sort of thing out, and you may need to take care of those here this evening. It's not like one of those nights where you have to worry about the pipes or anything, but it's going to be pretty chilly. Here's the wake-up forecast for us. You can see metro areas on line 10 will be 37, but once again, some of our inland areas will drop down to right around freezing. Tonight, coastal areas about 40 degrees. Here's your forecast for tomorrow. So we're moving into November 1st. Look at this. What a way to start the month, right? It'll be a little bit cooler than what today was. So if you thought today was kind of cool, tomorrow's going to be even cooler than today. Should be by a few degrees. So most areas, not see a couple areas to get out of the 50s today. I think most areas stay in the 50s tomorrow. Only a couple spots along the coastline will likely get above 50. Now, the wind gusts will continue throughout much of the day tomorrow. And it looks like as we head towards tomorrow evening, they'll finally begin to back off. But through much of the day tomorrow, these are the wind gusts, 8, 9, 10, 11. So right through the middle of the day, it looks like the wind gusts will be highest in the morning, and they'll be gradually coming down in the afternoon. And then in the evening, they start really dropping off. So still breezy out there for us tomorrow. So like today, we'll see a lot of breezes around again tomorrow. Sorry, things got a pop up there. All right, quick look out at the tropics. They've just changed this around, okay. All right, so we're still keeping an eye on this area right here, which is actually a pretty favorite area at this time of year if we're going to see any kind of development down here in the Caribbean, and it's working its way west. I've been looking at the long-range models, and they do some real funky things with this. They kind of crash it into Central America, and then it comes back out, and it spins around here in the Caribbean, and then it kind of works its way back. What happens at this time of year? We keep getting these strong fronts coming down that protects the Gulf from these storms coming up. You can say, well, isn't it possible for a storm to come up in the Gulf? Yes, it is possible. I'll show you that here. It has happened in the past. But it's pretty rare. Let me show you what I mean if I can find my graphic here that I'm looking for. Okay, here it is. Okay, so these are all the storms that have formed in November. So remember, tomorrow starts November. These are all the storms. There's been 84 of them since 1950. So that's roughly a little bit more than one per year. So we do usually get at least one, maybe two every year out in the tropics. There's two areas of development for them. Right out here, kind of like in the middle of the Atlantic, and when they form here, they kind of squirrely around, and eventually they head back out to sea. So none of those would have any impact for us to worry about. The other big region that they can develop, like the one we're looking at now, is right here in the Western Caribbean, and we're watching that one going that way. That may develop here in a few days in this region. Now, how many of those end up in the Gulf of Mexico and end up making landfall? Remember, this is since 1950. What is that? 73 years worth of storms, 72 years worth of storms. Three. Sorry, three. One, almost another one, but this one, Paloma, fell apart before actually making it to land. So only three, Juan, Ida, and Kate made landfall. So in 72 years, only three named systems in November. It's very hard for a system to work its way into the Gulf of Mexico and work its way up towards us because we keep getting fronts in November. They're stronger fronts by this time, so they just generally don't have much of a chance. Some of them do end up going into the west coast of Florida. You can see looks like about 7 storms that have hit the west coast of Florida, while there's only been 3 that have managed to hit the northern Gulf Coast, our part of the Gulf Coast. So it's really rare. I mean, it can happen, obviously, but it's really, really rare. So at this point, we're pretty, like I said, pretty safe, unless we get one of these rarities here. Pretty safe. But I mean, once again, we'll keep an eye on things because you never fully know, but it doesn't look like that one that's down there now will have much of a chance of doing that. All right, so that was kind of that end of things. I wanted to go ahead and show you the long-range forecast too. We'll actually take you through the end of the week, show you what we're looking at here. And chilly air. So we have a freeze warning or freeze watch inland tonight. Thursday morning, we're going to have another freeze watch, and that'll be basically north of I-10. And then you can see a gradual warming trend after that, back into the 70s by Friday afternoon, and a real pretty weekend ahead. You got some plans for the weekend. It looks really nice. Both Saturday and Sunday we'll have terrific weather on both days. So just really great conditions here over the next several days here for us across the Gulf Coast. All in all, looking quite good for us here. So main thing is, once again, for the kiddos out there trick-or-treating tonight, it will be obviously chilly. Make sure you do your best to bundle them up here tonight as they're out there trick-or-treating tonight. So, yeah, looking good here for us. And once again, I want to mention here, I'm going to get back on screen real quick. If you're catching us on our Facebook page, please download our app, our FOX10 weather app. Let me see if gosh, I know you can't really see it, but it's on there. FOX10 weather app, download that. And what we do these every day at around 2, try to give you a good fill-in of course, of your forecast. And anytime, like, say something happens, say there's a tornado coming or we have some nasty weather and we're on live on FOX10, we'll be live here on the app as well. So if you're at work or your power goes out, all you have to do is open up the app, click on the Watch Live, and whatever we're doing live on air, you're going to be able to see it right there on your phone or on your iPad. So it's a really great thing. It's free, and it's us. The people you've been watching for a long time. Hopefully you like watching us, and you can pull us up there on the app. We really appreciate that because kind of the way things are going in this business, People are on apps more and more, so we need to make sure that you can find us and let us know how we're doing as well on the app. So once again, you can pick up our app. Of course, you could also find us now on all those like Fubo and all those different Fire Sticks and everything else where you can find the same thing. We'll go live basically on every platform. So it's not just on Facebook. You can find us on all other platforms. And like I said, if you get our app, you can just always have it there at your fingertips. It's really good to have. Once again, for all the folks out there, trick-or-treating night, have fun. Usually my wife walks the kids around the neighborhood to do the trick-or-treating. Somehow I've gotten roped into it to do this year. I think it's because it's going to be cold. She doesn't want to go out there, so I'm going to have to bundle up with my kids and head on out and do the trick-or-treating thing with them this evening. So hope you have yourself a good night, a safe night nonetheless, and a fun one and a spooky one, obviously a chilly one. Oh, one other thing I was going to mention, I'll just show you this real quick, because this is pretty interesting, is that the fact that this is going to be the chilliest Halloween in a long time. Let me just put it that way. So, well, this was the forecast. We beat the forecast. I think we got to about 62 today. But even so, I went back and I looked back through our records, trying to find when have we had a cooler day. And I went back, you see a few years here, and I'm all in the 70s. And I kept going back in 70s and 80s, 70s and 80s. I found a couple other 60s. One was like 69 and one was like 65. But I had to keep going back and went to find a day, a Halloween chillier than this one. And I had to go all the way back 30 years. 30 years to find a chillier. And this one was really chilly. 1993, only 48 degrees on Halloween day. Boy, I was around in 93, but I don't remember it being that cold. I was in Tallahassee. I'm sure it was cold there as well, but I was in high school. I wouldn't have even known. So anyway, we got to 62 today, so I'm going to have to change that there. But just pretty crazy stuff. I mean, much cooler Halloween than what we are used to. And obviously, for any little kid that's out there trick-or-treating, this is going to be the coldest trick-or-treating they've ever done. So make sure they're bundled up and they're ready to go here for it tonight. Have yourselves a good evening. Thanks for letting me sort of blather on for a while. I hope you have yourself a great day. We will catch up with you soon.